Global News Calgary with Nirmala Naidu and Tony Ty.
Good evening. Staff at a summer camp are scrambling to disinfect everything in sight after an outbreak of norovirus.
The outbreak happened at the YMCA Camp Chief Hector west of Calgary in Kananaskis country. Dozens of campers, staff and counselors came down with the stomach bug early last week. As Brian Hurlbert reports, many of the sick are now out of quarantine after 2 days of severe vomiting and diarrhea.
Was it scary at all?
For a couple days, because like lots of people are getting sick. I think we had like 27 staff in there at one time.
For the last week, summer camp has not been what Brittany Larson was expecting.
We just have to bleach the bathrooms every day, and we bleach the tables every day, and before anyone goes into the lodge you have to bleach your hands.
9 days ago, several staff members complained they felt ill. After the weekend, they were still sick. Nausea, vomiting and diarrhea.
We had some testing done and got confirmed late in the day on the 22nd that that's what we were dealing with.
Altogether, 70 staff and campers came down with the norovirus. Right away, they were quarantined to several medical centers at the camp where they stayed for a couple of days until they felt better. Now, staff believe the worst of it is over, but they're still taking special precautions just to be safe.
We're optimistic that we're getting a handle on it and managing it. We have to keep monitoring it, and the last couple of days we seem to be doing well.
There has only been one new case of the camp since Monday. Since the outbreak, every inch of the site is bleached daily.
We're communicating with parents, and we're really focusing on prevention, lots and lots of hand washing and hydration, and also encouraging them to do some research on norovirus.
Health officials can only speculate how the illness got here in the first place.
If you have diarrhea and don't wash your hands adequately, you can contaminate something else that someone else is going to touch.
And at a summer camp with hundreds of kids, spreading a virus doesn't take much. But health officials remind this is not an isolated outbreak.
Even though people think that it's not present here in the summertime, we know that it is. And certainly we know about some other outbreaks that are occurring within the Calgary Health region right now.
This weekend, staff will be using the camp's break time to disinfect everything again before a new wave of campers move in for their summer retreat. In Kananaskis country, Brian Hurlbert, Global News.
Health officials say proper hygiene is key to stopping the spread of the norovirus. Always wash your hands after using the bathroom, especially if you're feeling ill. And if you are sick with vomiting or diarrhea, stay away from work and anyone else for at least 48 hours.
You're watching Global News Calgary with Nirmala Naidu and Tony Ty.
The labor dispute between Telus and its workers got even more heated today. A union rally was interrupted by about 200 employees who were still working. They poured out of the Telus building to express their loyalty to the company and their disdain for the pickets. As John Gulka reports, the incident demonstrates how wide the division is between the two sides.
A war of words between striking Telus workers and those still on the job had the potential to get physical.
You've ruined this union and this company. Bullshit.
Police kept watch over the demonstration, but in the end didn't have to intervene. A company spokesperson insists the sudden appearance of a couple hundred workers who are still on the job was not planned.
I cannot believe the number of employees that have just streamed out of the company and are chanting Telus. I'm so proud of them all, and I'm just amazed by their commitment to the organization.
The head of Telus, Darren Entwistle, made his way through the pro forces, shaking their hands and expressing his appreciation for their support. He ignored the picketers who suspect company supporters were told to go outside and express their allegiance to the company.
This is the most bizarre thing I've seen in 32 years of labor relations, to come out here and try to create a confrontation with the union, the membership. This is a lawful picket line.
What's the point you're making here today?
Yes.
That I don't support what's going on outside here. Were you told to come down, or? No, I made this decision on my own.
Who's taking the calls? Who's taking the calls?
Picketers also wondered who was minding the store while everyone was out on the street.
My granny's had a phone disconnected for 5 days because she's moved and nobody can get it fixed. So if they're so worried, why aren't they out fixing phones that aren't working versus being here?
When is enough profit enough?
It's not about profit, it's about shareholder value.
Some members of both sides broke off into smaller debates about the issues, and in the end,
see you guys later. Hope to meet you in better circumstances.
They agreed to disagree. John Golka, Global News, Calgary.
And Mia Soziak is at the Telus building tonight. Mia, what does the situation look like there right now?
Well, Nirmala, pretty quiet for the most part. A couple of minutes ago, a little bit of a scrap, if you will. Some of the picketers were shouting at a couple managers who passed by here, but it all lasted a matter of seconds. Essentially, these guys have gone from 400 at their peak down to about 50 now for the evening shift, so it is pretty quiet. As far as what's going on inside the Telus building and in other locations around the city, as expected by both sides, the labor dispute is starting to take a toll on customer service. We can confirm that the Telus Mobility Call Center in Southeast Calgary has reduced its hours for the week, and they're planning to close outright this weekend. So if you do need help with your cell phone, you're going to have to wait till Monday. And the Telus store in Chinook Center also tells me that they will be closing early tonight because of the labor disruption and staffing issues. The company, for its part, says it has 7,000 non-union employees in Alberta and BC holding the fort, if you will. So that's the situation as it stands.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mia.
You're welcome.
Now, Telus has repaired all 5 of its cables that were cut in BC since the strike began. Hundreds of people were left without service. The company isn't blaming the union for the vandalism, saying RCMP are investigating all of the incidents.
Calgary police are investigating a sexual assault at a Calgary seniors' home. An elderly woman was allegedly assaulted and taken to hospital, but so far police haven't been able to interview her. The suspect is an elderly man who also lives in the home. He's being questioned by investigators. Police will not name the facility, and they say they are still investigating.
The trial ended today for an Ontario trucker who was involved in a crash that killed a Calgary man and his son. Charanjit Singh Brar is accused of a traffic violation running a red light. The crash happened at Barlow Trail and Pagan Trail on Easter Sunday, 2004. As Nancy Hicks reports, Brar will have to wait another month before he finds out his fate.
Charanjit Singh Brar says he remembers driving through a green light back on Easter Sunday last year. This was the scene that day at the intersection of Pagan Trail and Barlow Trail Southeast. 2 people died in the terrible crash, 34-year-old Jimmy Ong and his 6-year-old son Brandon. Brar is charged with a traffic violation, running a red light.
He says, and he's always said, that he went through a green light.
There was another trucker that passed through the same intersection moments before the fatal crash. He says he believes Brar ran a red light, but there are concerns over that witness's credibility. He's currently in a federal jail for fraud.
They have a single witness, and of course that single witness is in the federal penitentiary, and of course I argued that he wasn't a reliable witness based on his life of crime.
If found guilty, Brar could face a maximum $2,000 fine or up to 6 months in jail.
It's a tragedy for both families. There's no winner in this case. Even if there's an acquittal, Mr. Brar does not win. He's going to have to live the rest of his life knowing that his truck killed 2 people.
The judge will hand down his decision on this case September 1st. Nancy Hicks, Global News, Calgary.
And Brar's lawyer couldn't say for sure if there would be any civil action against the trucker pending the outcome of his trial.
A pit bull which bit a man in the face in Strathmore has now been destroyed. Global News first told you about this story about a month ago. In late June, Martin Mojushik says a pit bull lunged at him from inside a parked truck and bit him in the face. The dog tore off 1/3 of Martin's lip. It will require several surgeries to fix. At the time, he told Global News he wanted the dog destroyed. Today, a judge in Strathmore gave the court order to destroy the dog. The dog's owner, James Holben, says he will appeal the decision.
A gas war in a southeast neighborhood has drivers flocking to the pumps. We found 3 gas stations on Ogden Road selling regular gas at about 84 cents a liter. Elsewhere in the city, it's about 10 cents a liter, 10 cents more. And analysts believe the prices won't jump any further. One reason is the high driving season is about halfway over, so as demand declines, gas prices tend to follow.
as we get into August and September, demand for gasoline really declines, and that should be it for gasoline prices. Now, having said that, should there be a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico, should be some terrorist attack, should oil prices go to $75, $80, where there's a good probability, then we're back to $1 plus a liter.
Analysts call the gas war in Ogden more of a local promotion, and they don't believe it will be lasting very long. Well, we want to know how much of a bargain hunter you are. On our web survey, we're asking, are you willing to drive around Calgary to find the best deal on gas? To vote, go to canada.com/Calgary, scroll down and look for the survey on the right-hand side of the page. We'll have the results for you at 6:29.
Premier Ralph Klein says he doesn't have a problem with going back in debt. He made the comments during his annual Klondike Days pancake breakfast in Edmonton this morning. Transportation Minister Lyle Oberg has suggested going back into debt to upgrade roads and schools. Oberg wants to take the money out of the Heritage Fund to catch up with the $7 billion in building projects. The Premier says there's merit to that idea.
To borrow from ourselves to give Albertans an ownership. In other words, you take the money out of the Heritage Savings Trust Fund, you float a bond, right? So Albertans themselves invest in their hospitals, their schools, their infrastructure, and so on.
The opposition Liberals are furious over the suggestion of going back into debt. Liberal leader Kevin Taft wants the Premier to recall the legislature for a full debate on the idea. Alberta currently is Canada's only debt-free province.
Sea train service was disrupted this afternoon while police checked out a suspicious package. A transit employee told two police officers on foot patrol that a bag had been left at a bus stop near 7th Avenue and 1st Street Southwest. People in the area were canvassed, but no one claimed the bag. So, police sealed off the area while they checked out the package. They quickly determined it was not suspicious. Police say public awareness on the transit system may have been heightened because of the London bombings, but they simply followed standard procedure in this case. Well, engineering students from across North America are getting ready for the final dash in the North American Solar Car Challenge. All 18 solar cars in the race have now arrived at the pit stop in Medicine Hat. The U of C is in 13th place. The University of Minnesota leads the pack. They left Austin, Texas earlier this month, and the finish line is at the University of Calgary tomorrow. Finish line festivities begin outside the Olympic Oval at 11 a.m. The public is welcome to see the cars and talk to students about the race. You can watch the Global Noon Hour tomorrow for live coverage from the finish line.
They should get quite a reception as they come back into town as well. Here's Paul, and what will they be greeted by sunshine?
Oh, yes, they will. We have energy from Old Saul. 20 degrees our current temperature. Tonight, kind of cloudy. Winds from the northeast at 6. We also have some thunderstorms and some showers moving our way, as you can see in the Doppler radar. By tomorrow, this should all be gone, and we will be back to sunny conditions. We'll tell you more about that in the 7-day forecast in a few minutes.
All right, thanks a lot, Paul. Well, when you've got a winning team, there's no need to break it up. In sports at 6:22, the coaching staff who took the Flames to the Stanley Cup will be back behind the bench. At 6:24, you have to look up, way up, to see the newest addition at the Calgary Zoo.
And coming up next, a Calgary program that means the world to refugees is now in danger of shutting down. You'll meet one woman who's been helped immensely by this program.